All right, we've got Go Simply Connect. Oh, are we holding up our tools? That's awesome. Yeah, so we've got Go Simply Connect. These guys have been great. They sent me some of their, so I have flush cutters here. I've got their Rj45 crimpers, and they also were, here we go, check this out. They were also part of this awesome effort with cable and connections, vertical cable, roll gear. Like all these guys got together and put this into a LVN starter kit. So that's cool. But I'm getting to know Blake Talley and Todd today on the hot seat. So Todd, thank you so much for joining. You've got a presentation. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, and then go into your presentation. I really want to hear about it. So thank you.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hey, well, first of all, Blake. Well, there's two Blakes online here, so I'll probably talk to both of them at the same time. But Blake Talley, my partner, and I joined the company in August of 2019, and I'm the president of the company, and Blake's the vice president of the company, and we actually have past working history together. And anyways, being from this industry, we knew how technology has actually changed a lot. Rj45 connectors in particular have evolved into so many different industries, and a lot of the manufacturers just weren't producing it based on how people are using the technology today. So we took it upon ourselves and our partners to develop a product that really addresses a lot of the technology issues that are troubling the installers in today's market. So that's how we want to kind of lead off and start and talk about how we came across some of the technology and a lot of the re-innovations and re-engineering of an Rj45 connector in particular. So Go Simply Connect is the brand manager, and currently we have two brands called Simply 45, and the other one's the Dongler, which is an HDMI adapter ring for basically converting technology like devices that are used today over an HDMI platform. So it makes it very simple for a plug and play situation for to do presentations in conference rooms or whatever, or to add a second monitor. There's lots of things. So we'll go into that. So what I want to do, I have a brief presentation here. I'm going to go ahead and I think it is being shared right now. Do you guys see my screen right now?
We got your the Go Simply Connect website.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start the presentation. Let's see here. Got to put my glasses on for this. Sorry about that, guys and girls. All right, here we go. Everybody see the presentation now?
Yep.
All right, so as I was saying, Go Simply Connect is the brand manager. It's our DBA, and there's the two brands that we typically are producing. We have a lot of expansion coming later this year, Q3, Q4, and our go-to-market strategy going forward will be everything launched will be a Simply branded product going forward. So we have test gear coming, so it'll be that product line will be called Simply Test. We have fiber products coming, so we'll be actually introducing Simply Fiber later this year, and so on. So that's the theme, and that's why Go Simply Connects is the brand manager to make sense of all these Simply brands that we're going to be coming out with. So, but right now we're going to talk about Rj45 connectors, and this really talks about Blake and I in particular. We are very customer centric. We're very focused on developing brands. We do everything through distribution, so we're really here to support that channel in a big way. We love education. We love to get like forums that Blake from Low Voltage Blake. There you go. I figured it out. Low Voltage Blake gave us this opportunity to come in and talk to everybody and present our products. But this is what we do on a daily basis: is educate and promote our products and all the advantages that we bring forward. Our products are now patented. We have several patents that's available. And right now we have two locations, one in Florida and a warehouse in Texas. We also have a warehouse in the UK as well. So we are a global company. Okay. Right now, so as we go into Simply 45 and who are we and what we're about, we traditionally started with a pass-through connector, okay? And for those who are not familiar, 100% with a pass-through connector. I've got one kind of prepped here already, and this is an RJ45, and a pass-through actually has the holes in front of the connector, which allows the untwisted wires to go all the way through. So you get really three big advantages with a pass-through. One, you get to verify that you've got it wired in the right sequence before you terminate, right? The second thing is you can really minimize the amount of untwisted wire because you can push it all the way, the untwist wire close to the contact. So this is how you really improve your performance on a connector. Because anytime you want to twist the wire, you're degrading the signal, right? So, and then the third thing is you're going to get maximum copper on every pin. So when you crimp it, it's just not going to crimp the ends of the wires like traditional solid body front connectors. That's what happens. You know, you get a piece of the wire, then any kind of cable move, you could actually get an intermittence or some kind of disconnect. So this gives you three really solid call outs for a positive connection every time. So you get wire sequence, solid contacts, and minimize force. So that's a pass through. So if anyone did not know what that really meant, and I'll actually show you what, when we get to the tool, I'll show you how this actually terminates. So part two coming on that one. So right now, since we've introduced the Simply 45 pass-through brands, we've also are not ignoring the customers that want to work with traditional solid standard modular plugs. So we have a whole series of those. And then we now just recently introduced our whole Pro series, which is the pass-through. So this is the pass-through. And then when you cut that off, these wires can and are exposed with other manufacturers that offers the same type of product. But with our patented Cap 45, it actually snaps over the front of the exposed wires. And now you have a sealed body connector. So this is the convenience of a pass-through with the security of a standard mod plug. Now, I'll go into some of the other main features, but one of the things that we're very proud of that we've been able to develop from Cat 5 all the way to Cat 7A solutions for all these products, whether it's pass-through or standard mod plugs. So we have one of the widest range in the market of shielded and unshielded pass-through connectors. I don't know if you see on the screen, but you'll see some of our certifications. You know, HD Base T is one of our newest alliances. They're one of our partners now, and we're part of their alliance, but we're the only HD Base T approved connector for RJ45s at this time. So, you know, that's something we're very proud of because of the technology that we've been able to build into our products. And plus all the other, you know, this is a true UL FCC approved connector. So it's, you know, with the highest quality materials. So but with all these features and benefits, we still know we're saving you money. And so we're providing savings to the installer. So that equals better margins for you on your job site, right? So next thing. So now you're seeing some odd things that you typically don't see on a connector. That is different colors, right? So yeah, you can see the rainbow here of colors, and they all have a meaning. So the blue connectors, not only is the packaging and the lids have a color tint to them, but also the connectors themselves are tinted, right? So if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a whole bundle of connectors scattered together. They're very easy to tell the difference of which ones are which, right? Most every other connector manufacturer out there is all clear. And so if you have these different category type connectors, they get mixed up, and then, you know, now you've got a different problem on your hand. So one of the things we realized that, you know, this is a really good call to action. So if you see the blue connectors, those are Cat 5. You see green connectors, they're Cat 6. If you see red connectors, they're the hybrid Cat 6, 6A. And then if you go into the green or the orange and the yellow, those are the 7 and 7A connectors. And so there's a meaning behind our color scheme here. So when we first did this was just a cosmetic change for what the reasons I've given you, but a lot of our OEM partners, whether it's camera manufacturers or matrix switchers or whatever, they're now using this color scheme to their advantage for tech calls, right? So they're saying, hey, what cable are you using? Okay, well, I might be using Page Electric, which I know is one of the you know, suppliers that is associated with Low Voltage Nation, and we also do some work with them as well. We do a lot of cross promotion, but one of the things that the OEMs are using this for is like, hey, okay, that's supposed to be Cat 6. Do you have the green connector on the end? No, it's blue. Well, let's start over. Let's get the right connector in check, and then then we'll go ahead and retest, right? So it's providing a lot of advantages that, we initially didn't anticipate, but it's growing on its own. So I know low voltage Blake is, if there's any questions while we're going through this presentation, please interrupt and let me know, and I'll try to answer as we go along. I know Blake Talley, BT, the Simply Blake. I don't know if that sounds good or not, Simply Blake. But anyways, he's monitoring the Q&A questions as they come in. So now we're going to get into some of the meat and potatoes, what we did different, and what a lot of the connector manufacturers are out there. They're doing a two-prong style contact. And the reason why a two-prong is okay, it's mainly designed to work with stranded and solid. That's the whole purpose. But I'll give you a visual scenario here of what's going on. So with a two-prong contact, if it does its job right, it's supposed to come over here and straddle over a solid conductor like this. Well, if the conductor's a little undersized or whatever, that contact could slide to one side or the other, or even stack up on top of that conductor like that, okay? Which means it's not making the best contact it possibly can make. So it means, like, so you test it out on the job site, it's working today, but any type of cable moves behind the scene, or just the contact could just pop off. That's where it was working yesterday, it's not working today. So that scenario is bad because it typically requires a truck rollback to go back to fix it. But it also, when it comes into power applications, it creates heat, it creates shorts, it creates, stuff that could be detrimental to the actual overall install. So one of the things that we did is we did a three-prong style contact that has an offset middle prong where it locates the conductor every time. So what it is, it's going to find and locate that conductor. And then what it is, you've got 3 points of contact. So it literally is one of the most secure contacts in an Rj45 that you can get. So, obviously that's where you have improved bandwidth speeds, and it eliminates a lot of the digital fallout that typically could happen in your installs. So this is, if you're doing anything with PoE, you would not want to do anything that requires, that doesn't have a three-prong contact. Okay, so it's PoE plus. This is one of the reasons why HD Base T selected us as well. So, let's keep that in mind as well, that, being the only HD Base T certified connector. So another thing we did, now I know in the low voltage nations, you have all kinds of installers. You've got residential installers, you've got commercial, you got pro AV, you've got, security. It's just a wide gambit. But if you're doing residential, they have certain standards. And if you go into commercial applications, you have other standards, right? So one of the things that we did is we developed everything to the highest standard we could, right? So we wanted to over design our product. So one of the things we did was actually the material spec that's in the Rj45 is a UL94 VO rating. And you're going, all right, I don't know what that means. Well, you know what plenum means, right? So this is plenum rated. In the European standards, it's low smoke, zero halogen. You might have heard some of these standards before. So that's what this is all about, right? So this is a commercial rated, connector that's, if you're doing any kind of commercial jobs and a building inspector calls you out on it, then you're going to say, is everything on this wire attached, everything attached to this wire, is it plenum rated? Now you have that insurance in a jar that, you have the right connector at the right time. And we don't produce a non-plenum version like other manufacturers could. And, they, especially in the coax world, they have plenum rated, non-plenum rated. We did everything to the highest standard. So it's all about SKU optimization for the installer. He's always going to have the right connector at the right time. So this is, we took all that into consideration when we were developing these products. So now, if anybody has any questions, obviously, we're open for discussion. Next thing we're going to talk about is some of our exclusive technology, right? And that's in our standard series and our pro series, we have, well, especially in the Pro series, we have the Cap 45, which actually has been issued a patent. There it is on the screen. And what that does, and I gave you a brief scenario on it early, and you can see it on the left, it's that black bar that goes across the front of that connector, and that's what seals off the wires that have been trimmed off the front of that connector. And you might say, why is that important? Well, in PoE applications, you know, you want to, there's a couple things, right? One, you have a nose here on the front of that connector that will prevent that from going in and touching in the back end of that port of the, so a lot of times these ports are shielded and they've got metal wraps inside there. So if this actually went into a live circuit and they didn't have that nose on there, it would actually touch and could short out. The other thing is if you're disconnecting it from a active circuit, that could actually have 2 points to where it could arc from, not only from the front, but it also can do it from the contacts. So, so what we've done is minimized two of those things, from it shorting out from the front end of the inside the port, as well as the arcing coming from any kind of disconnects from an active circuit. So there has been some OEM manufacturers, and I don't want to mention any names, but they recommended them to not use a pass-through style connector for certain applications. Well, you know, this is what this solves, right? Because they want that, they want to minimize the risks involved when it comes to install. So, and they feel like the pass-through sometimes has that added risk because they've probably had some opportunities where equipment has failed. So with the Cap 45, we address that. We're the only one in the market to have this, and it has been, anybody that's doing any type of Pro AV and PoE, I mean, it's almost a must to have something like this. Now you also see the bar 45. This is a unique scenario because what we've done is the pass-through is all about trying to eliminate load bars and trying to make it easier and do a one-piece design. And that's great. But when you get into Cat 7, Cat 7A, and these bigger cables, you know, I'll start with this. Cables are getting bigger. Connectors are staying the same size. Okay. So now it's up to connector manufacturers to figure this problem out, right? So when you are working with 21 gauge wires, 22 gauge wires, and you're still trying to put it into an Rj45 that looks like this, there's a lot of challenges that starts with this. So one of the things that we did now, and I know I don't have any examples here that I could hold up, but I mean, you're talking about cable sizes that are twice that in diameter, right? And so there's where the first challenge comes. So what we did is we wanted to look at how we can improve performance first and then develop how to put it into a connector. So one of the things that is associated with large cables that you develop near and far crosstalk, because the wires are just crammed into that connector and you're not getting any kind of air isolation and any kind of separation on the conductors. So the load bar that we put for pass-through connectors in the Pro series is one, it's to create that separation for each conductor, because now instead of it being a straight pass-through like what you see here, see how the wires come straight through the front? I don't know if you can see that on my camera or not, but so now what we're doing is we're stacking conductors like this going through that connector. That's called a high-low stagger, okay? And so that makes it a little challenging to load through the connector. So the load bar itself actually puts them in the right order. So you could do that outside of the connector. And then when you slide it in, it's perfectly aligned to the holes in the front of the connector. So it makes it really simple to load these connectors, right? And this has been a huge challenge, especially with large Cat 6, Cat 6A and above. And then plus with the load bar, it also gives you that air separation that you don't have to build into the connector. That's typically what you would have to do. And it made it the challenge to load. So I know probably a little deep. We're connector nerds. I mean, this is probably way more information you need, but hey, someone told me if you're going to be good at something, be the best. And so we are. We've tried to be the best. And so we think of things that most people don't really take in consideration. And that's because we have alliances with cable manufacturers like Page Electric, right? I mean, they teach us things that we don't even think of, right? So it's important to, you know, expand your knowledge base with your partners, right? So, so anyways, this is some of the unique technology that's kind of dedicated to us. Now I want to go into everybody's heard of shielded connectors, right? Well, we obviously we make our own shielded connectors as well. But we deconstruct the shielded connectors. Most of the connectors are already pre-assembled. And what that does, especially when you're dealing with large diameter cables, again, that connector is a solid metal body, right? It's a blind insertion. You're just hoping it's all those, because when those 8 wires get untwisted, you're hoping they stay intact. And then, you know, when you crimp it, you like close your eyes and cross your fingers like, yes, I think I got it. Then you test it and you go, oh, that was a waste of 10 minutes. So what we did, we designed our connectors also to work with a single tool solution. All right. I know we had this in the beginning, this tool. So this one tool will do every connector we have. So we design connectors that work with one tool. So it's about, not only do we do SKU optimization, we do tool optimizations as well. So with this deconstructed connector, the connector body's half the size. So you don't have to, like in this particular connector here, you don't have to insert that cable jacket all the way up and through there. And that's what you have to like change the whole outside jacket just to get that to fit. As I said, connectors aren't getting bigger, right? So what we did, so the connector we have is about this size. It's a half the size of that connector. So what that large jacket sits on the back half of the connector, right? It doesn't have to be inserted. And then once everything is crimped, then you actually take the metal shell, slide it up, and it snaps into place. And now you've got a shielded connector. And then you take your drain wire, put it to the side, and crimp it with the external tabs, and voila, you got another shielded connector. But it's all about trying to, we like to call it, streamline the installation process, right? This is what it's most important. I mean, when you're doing 100 of these a day, you want to do them right every time, and you don't want to take all this time. So we want to make our products very easy to work with. As I said, no blind insertions. This is really important. You know, you got 100% visibility when you're doing this process. And then, you know, the reduced Rj45 connector body, minimal cable jacket insertion, and metal shell snaps onto the termination plug, just like it says here. And it is really that easy, 1, 2, 3. And these are rated up to 10 gig. This is another patent pending, this whole process. So it's not patented yet, but it's pending, and we feel very confident we're going to achieve that patent on this because it is so unique and designed. And then also on top of it, you have the cap 45 again, and the bar 45 that's associated with these larger cables. So it's a very high-end plug termination that's, you know, typically going to be, you know, the field plugs that were typically used for this industry, for this type of install, was costing the integrator somewhere between $15 to $20 per plug. This is going to cost them, you know, $3 to $4 a plug, right? So significant savings there, and it's actually easier to use, and it's the normal width of a connector, so it's going to fit in patch panels, you know, all the conventional plug and play material that's out there, right? So we didn't have to make things bigger, so we kept everything in the same form fit factor that's out there. So now we're going to talk about the tools. This is, you know, I know the pain that it causes an installer when you design a new connector, and oh, by the way, you know, that $80 tool you just bought last time. Now, if you want to install this connector, you got to buy another $100 tool or whatever, you know. So it's a maddening, constant battle with installers. Now they got to have 5 crimp tools, and they've got to have 5 different connectors, and it's, so we understand, we listen to the industry, we know what installers are looking for, and it's about, one, reducing the weight of the tool bag, right? And always having the right tool for the job. So that's what we did. So now I'm going to tell you about our tool. So this is the C100. We actually have introduced another tool, and it's the same as the C100, where it fits everything that I've shown you, right? But what's nice about our tool, first of all, most conventional tools that are out there, and pretty much everyone that I've seen, they have one handle that is fixed and the other handle that does all the work, like this, right? So what that does, a couple things, it takes a lot of hand force because it's only coming from one side, but it also puts a pivot on the crimping die. So what that does, and it's in microseconds, right? Pins 1 hits pin 8 before it actually engages all conductors at the same time. And that's where you could get where it slips on pins, or, you know, it missed a pin or whatever, right? So what we did is we actually developed a true vertical crimp, right, where our crimp die goes straight into the contacts of the connector at the exact same time. But we also do dual ratcheting handles. Both handles ratchet at the same time. So it really minimizes the hand force that's associated with, yep. And low voltage Blake, he's doing his demo. So it's really a nice tool. And then we also wrap everything in steel so it minimizes the flexing going on in here. Another thing we're proud of is our blade design. It's not just a blade held on by a screw, it's an actual cartridge. I mean, it's very robust. So what that does is it prevents it from flexing. When this thing is going through the process of crimping and cutting the blades, it can flex and pull and stretch those conductors on the front of the inside the connector. And that changes the impedance of the cable as well. So what this does, it's at a preset. There's no calibration. It's another plug and play design. You just unscrew this one screw, take the cartridge out. It's got another hole located at the bottom. So it kind of presets everything into the right angles and everything. And then what it does is it's just a very solid blade. We give it a life cycle of about 1,500 to 2,000 cycles before we recommend changing the blade. But it's just like anything. A blade this is a very important part of the tool, and you want to replace these blades, frequently. It's just part of the process, right? We're providing all these advantages. Do not take advantage of the blade by leaving it on there forever, right? So, and then we have, cutters and strippers and everything built into the tool. And plus, we kept what a lot of tool manufacturers are getting rid of is ratcheting. Ratcheting is a very important, it's not a noisemaker. It actually ensures that you are cycling the tool to the proper depth. So the pins are so you're not under crimping and you're not over crimping, right? So it kind of takes you right to it. And when you hear the click, it's done, and then just release. So these are really important. And let's see here. This kind of goes back to a lot of questions we get about our tool, right? Compatibility, right? Everybody's like, hey, so I'm using this brand here or this brand here. Well, we're here to tell you that if you commit to our product and work with Simply 45 and you have Klein, Ideal, or even Platinum's easy connectors, our crimp tool will actually crimp their product as well. So it's about, if you convert to our product, we're not telling you have to cannibalize all your other products and throw it away, and now it's a bigger investment than you initially thought. So you will be able to use our tools with these connectors. Now, I think Platinum has another version called the Easy EX, and that one is a different design, which again requires you to buy another tool, right? So we are trying to eliminate that, and they have different dies and things. But anyways, we are very compatible with all these connectors. Okay, so I think that's really important. It's again about SKU optimization, and it's also about having the right tool at the right time. So and then we have a new one. I would advise everybody to go to our website and check out the S45 C101. And I don't have one here, but we're getting ready to launch this. Oh, Blake's got it.
I've got it right here.
You want to show them some of the advantages on that tool?
Yeah. So this is going to be the new Pro Series C101. As Todd mentioned, it does essentially the same operation as what the C100 does, right? So, but the added benefits are a couple of things. We have a lock on the tool, so you can lock the tool in your bag so it doesn't open up without you wanting it to. We also have, if you can see here, there's an indent up at the top of the crimp tool, which allows the connectors to snap into place when you do the termination, therefore giving it even more security that you're not going to get any movement during that crimping process. We have an external ground crimper in here as well, so you can see right here in the base of the tool. So this is for the shielded connectors that Todd mentioned. And then probably my favorite part of this tool, which is like such a no-brainer, but there's actually blade storage in the handle. So now you have extra blades. If you use this blade, you can go and pick one up, replace it in here, and you always have a fresh blade when you're out in the field and you find yourself needing one. So you don't sacrifice performance because you don't have time to run to your local distributor. So this tool will be launched in the next couple of weeks. So check back on our social media and on our website for more information.
Right. So now I'm going to give you that quick demo that I said I was going to give you with the tool. I don't have the cool tool. You know, the president, we don't get these things. You know, they keep us from playing. They think we're going to hurt ourselves, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, so the thing about the tool is you got the blade on this side. So you insert the connector through here. And then when you cycle it, I'm going to catch these so these conductors don't go everywhere. But if you can see, it just cut everything off nice and clean, right? And if you look at the front end of the connector, you'll see how I was mentioning how how clean and flush that is, right? How that, I mean, it looks like a factory installed connector, right? And that's what these wires that are exposed here on the front ends, it doesn't usually cause any issues, but you know, for peace of mind and to eliminate any kind of potential shorts, that's when we also offer the new Cap 45, right? So we've addressed a lot of issues that were plaguing a lot of installers. So if anybody has any questions on that, we're available for any Q&A, but I want to kind of take you to some of the resources that we have on our website. I think this is important, you know, because some of the challenges is identifying, you know, what connector fits my cable, right? And so I do, and I'll show you here, like, well, Page Electric, you know, they actually have on their website, they have a resource guide as well, you know, so if you're going to say, hey, I want to do their game changer cables and I've got this particular SKU, what connectors work for that, right? Well, we help them develop a compatibility chart for their cables, right? And so it just makes it, you know, that's some of the biggest frustrations we hear out there, that, you know, just because it says it's a Cat 6 connector or cable doesn't mean a Cat 6 connector is going to fit on it. There's limitations, right? So different insulation sizes, you know, sometimes they cheat on copper sizes and things like that. So you need to, it really comes down to the size, flexibility of the connector for a lot of your connectors, right? So you want to try to create a compatibility. So we try to work with our cable partners to make sure that they're giving good recommendations. We also work with our distributors to make sure they're giving good recommendations, because one of the things that's frustrating is if you're an installer and you're going out to the job site and your Cat 6 connector doesn't fit that cable, and now you're mad at everybody, right? You're mad at us, you're mad at the cable manufacturer, you're mad at the distributor that sold this to you. So, you know, so we tried to really, you know, help everybody in this process, right? Because we know the challenges that we're faced with as a manufacturer, and it's got to be just as crazy as an installer trying to go out and figure these things out. So this is, if you go to simply45.com resources, you'll find this connector selector guide out there, and it just gives you a whole index of options, and then you just pick your options and you just scroll to the right and left, and it'll tell you what connector we recommend for there. We also have cable certifications, you know, compatibility charts, how-to videos, instruction sheets, product flyers, white papers. You know, also we're doing a lot on social media, so you know, make sure you follow us there as well, because I think we're always posting promotions. And speaking of promotions, Blake, you got something you want to show these guys?
Yeah, we're going to be very shortly on our social media. We're going to be giving away 100 Simply 45 hats with the low voltage gold standard logo on them. And so you're just going to follow us on social media, and you can put your name in the hat to get one of these, and we'll send those out to you. But stay tuned on our social media. It's a great place to go to really get information on new products, promotions like Todd's saying, new distributors, etc. So stay tuned.
We do free tool promotions. We do, you know, hat promotions. So, you know, it's really good to get involved and follow us. I think we're going to be doing this hat promotion during the Memorial Day weekend. So not only are you going to be flipping burgers, but, you know, you could be winning hats too. So let's see here. We do have another product category, and this is the dongler, and no one's allowed to laugh at the name, but we inherited that. But it's an adapter ring that is HDMI. It's about trying to create compatibility for HDMI presentations, right? So if you go into a conference room or things like that, you have, let's say I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, I have a MacBook, I got a Surface Book Pro here, right? And none of these devices I have HDMIs on them, right? And every conference room you go to, it's either got VGA or HDMI. So what we've done is developed, based on the most popular devices used today, we've created an adapter, right? And they're rated at 4K, you know, up to 32 gigabits. And and they're designed and all certified by the manufacturers of this technology, like HDMI. Our products have been certified and tested by HDMI, as well as DisplayPort and USB. Now, you see the adapter ring, and they're saying, okay, what's this have to do? So one of the things when you come into a conference room, if you just have adapters laying on the table and, you try to find yours, there's a good chance that someone might have accidentally walked off with the other one. So we call that casual theft, right? It's not, they didn't intentionally try to steal it, but it could happen, right? So that's casual theft. So what we do is we created this patented tether ring that locks all the adapters down. You tie it to the source cable, so it's always there for the next presenter. So that's the whole reason for the Dongler adapter ring series. But the adapters are high rated. I mean, the adapter itself, the HDMI portion of it is all made out of aircraft aluminum, so it dissipates heat very quickly, so it does not overheat. I mean, I'm sure everybody's familiar with streaming right now, and your Fire Sticks or your Apple TV. If you're streaming 4K, those devices get very hot, right? So, and it potentially could shut down. So a lot of the cheaper adapters out there in the market, that's typically what happens. So ours is very high quality for sure. Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry. I went to the, let me go back to the presentation. So we also sell this adapter ring by itself, the unloaded dongler. And so that way you can custom make your whatever adapter series you would want to use. And I mean, and it can be used in media closets where people are locking down keys and things like this. There's all kinds of uniqueness that you can do with this. And then we've got a whole series of adapters. In today's climate, or I'd say last year, there wasn't a lot of presentations going on in conference rooms. So obviously our one-off adapter sales were pretty good because everybody was working from home. They want to work with that second monitor or other things like that to expand or they want to stream to their TVs. So the adapter sales were pretty remarkable actually, but the actual adapter series took a back seat to that just because of what we were faced with in the climate. So I wanted to just bring a little bit of awareness to you that we're more of about a connectivity company and we're not just Rj45s, even though we take a lot of pride in that product. We want to bring end-to-end connectivity solutions for many platforms, right? So that's really the presentation. I mean, I don't know if everybody, but we're based out of Dania Beach, Florida, which is Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. So that's our headquarters. And we also have locations, our warehouse. Right now, we're shipping everything out of the Dallas, Texas. We wanted to kind of centralize our inventory and make it kind of like a 1 to 2 day to 3 day point from anywhere in the US to get our products to anywhere in the country. So that's the presentation. We're open to do demos. If anybody's got any questions, we're here for that. I could take you to the website, I guess, and show you, like for example, let me go here. I'll just go to the Simply 45 website, and when I was talking about the resources, if you just go right here to the resource tab, here's where all of our product spec sheets are. Here's where product flyers. Here's instruction sheets. Here's some of the other documents like that connector selector guide and other technical bulletins, right? So it's just a really good area to get and then how-to videos if you want to go into and see the videos on how these terminations work. We've got plenty of these on there right now. We've got about 17 new ones coming. These videos you see are like you're looking at someone doing the demo. The ones that Blake and Simply Blake developed and myself, we developed it with an over-the-shoulder perspective. So it's actually, you're looking at it like how you would do it. So it's easy to comprehend. The process is easier. So be on the lookout for those. You'll see that on our social media when we're launching the hats. How about that? So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to turn it back to Low Voltage Blake and see what how he'd like to proceed on the next phase of this.
Yeah, you guys do a really good job with the resources. The more I interact with you guys online, you guys do a great job on social media. And then seeing all these videos, this is like a really, really good. You said you have 17 more coming out that are talking about connectivity and tools and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. I don't see any other questions or anything. There was a comment by David Coleman, a fun fact about shoe sizes.
All right. Well, we'll save that one for
He
another.
relates it to gauge. Yeah, he's just talking about the different gauges of cable and how it relates to shoe sizes.
Well,
Thank you, David.
I've never used that scenario, but he's like absolutely right. Shoes are not just shoes, right? They come in different sizes.
Yeah. So can you tease any of the new stuff, like just like because you were mentioning earlier in like the kind of the pre-show, something that you were gonna announce in the next few months or weeks, or what can you say about it? You can just
Well,
flash it and that's it.
I will say this. There's a lot of we get a lot of requests to help improve the processes, right, on installs, right? Make it faster, make it easier. Well, we have a new tool coming out that will, in fact, do that. It's in prototype stages. We're going to be launching probably some social media stuff in June to kind of get it launched, but I think we'll have product available in July. And we just don't want to get too far ahead of the process because it creates a lot of buzz and no product to be had, and then we get frustrated people out there. But
Yeah.
just stay tuned on the social media channel. We'll get that there. But I will say that as we are launching other Simply branded products, like I mentioned, Simply Test, we're going to have a continuity tester that we're going to be launching very soon. We're going to be expanding with other just assorted hand tools that will be in the Simply 45 line. We're going to be launching, as I said, we want to try to go with a whole end-to-end connectivity solution. And this gets into like 25-year lifetime warranty installs and things like this. So we have to have the whole gambit of, patch panels and all the networking equipment that's required to do an end-to-end connectivity solution. So if you're trying to pass on, limited warranties or extended warranties with your installs, this is something we will be able to offer. You will be able to offer with our cable partners and with our products. So it's really a key feature that we're adding. So we're going to be keystones, wall plates, and other things like that to help finish out the rest of the traditional installs, right? And then we're going to be doing fiber, and we got some unique connectivity solutions there. Fiber is constantly growing, right? So even though we really are on the copper side of things today, we cannot ignore as a connectivity company or a connector company to ignore that side of the business. So we've got a huge offering coming from there, whether it's to jumpers, to actual bulk cable, to unique connector terminations and things like that.
Yeah, and Todd, I just kind of want to add, to everyone watching this, we're a small company that's very, very focused on these types of terminations. Being such, we really welcome you guys to interact with us. You can see on Todd's screen right now, down at the bottom right, there's a little blue logo that's a chat with us logo. You can see that we're offline right now because we're on this presentation with you guys. But, we would love to hear if you have problems that you're facing in the field with specific wires or connectors or terminations. A lot of the innovation that we've created with this brand has been, directly from the field. And with the lack of trade shows and our ability to get out in front of customers these days, interacting with us through our social media, through Low Voltage Nation, through our website is really critical for us to continue to come out with products that really serve y'all's needs, now and in the future. So, definitely feel to reach out. You most of the time it's either Todd or I, pinging you right back. So you actually get to talk to us. And, we've been doing this for a combined, almost 17 years. And we probably know more about connectors than, 99% of, or actually more than anyone should, quite honestly. But
go for 100 at that point.
we love doing this, and we'd be excited to connect with you guys. So, please do. LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. We have a number of ways that you guys can connect with us. So whatever platform you use, look us up.
Yeah, that's a good point about figuring out what is needed in the field from technicians, and that's what we're all about with the Facebook group. If you go on there, there's plenty of complaints and problems that they're having in the field. So keep an ear, keep your eyes on that, as well as the Slack workspace. So we're always trying to figure out like all the little nuances that it's installers go through, and how do we solve these problems and get the next guy into the industry without having these problems, and get them the right tools for the job they have to do. So it's good.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, and we're very excited to be part of the Low Voltage Nation, and bringing our solutions to your community is huge, right? So we feel blessed to be part of this community for sure. So, and
Yeah.
like I said,
Yeah.
yeah. So Blake, Low Voltage Blake, we thank you for including us in this community. So.
Yeah, it's growing very, very rapidly at this point. It's less than 2 years old and we've already come this far. So I'm glad you guys are here early on as a partner. And yeah, it's gonna explode over the next few years. I have some big plans that I can't talk about right now. So I'm gonna tease a little bit of my stuff. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff we got coming down the pipeline, especially with the fiber side. So we should talk about what you guys have going on the fiber optic side as well.
Sure.
So that'll be good.
Excellent.
Cool.
Well,
Any other, I don't see any other questions or anything else from Blake or Todd or even David? That was great. I really appreciate you guys getting on. I'll record this. It'll be on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'll tweet it out on Twitter. I'm trying to do some TikTok and some Instagram reels as well around this content to get as much exposure as possible. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on, and take care.
all right.
Yeah, the same. So if you go to our social media, you'll see this stuff popping up there as well.
Cool. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye-bye.